What's up guys? Welcome to my review on Arrow Season 5 Episode 4. So in this review, I'm assuming you watched the episode. If you haven't, we're going to be talking about it, so click away if you don't want to be spoiled. If you're still here, let's talk about the episode. Alright, let's start with the opening scene. So it's official now. Evelyn is Arrow's version of Artemis. If you guys don't know the name Artemis, you guys should definitely check out Young Justice. It's one of my favorite animated shows of all time. Of course, this rendition of Artemis is going to be completely different, but they're using the name, so check it out. So the opening scene was pretty cool. We got to see some parkour from Curtis, Evelyn's new costume, and Wild Dog being his usual uncontrollable self. After Oliver cleaned up the mess of a fight, we got to see a scene where Ragman quits, but of course, not for long at all. And we'll talk about that conflict later. But that was the opening scene, and I thought it was pretty cool. On to the next scene. We got the break-in at the Evidence Lockup. It's funny how all the important characters have this huge plot armor. I suppose that was sort of like my small negative for this scene. Quentin and that other guy could have been so easily killed, but Church decides to just spare them for no real good reason. I mean, you could argue bombs were thrown at them, but you could also argue why didn't they just shoot them like they shot the cops. For the scene though, I liked how they did the whole classic break into the evidence room ploy, and that was pretty fun to watch. Moving on from there, let's get into the later half of the episode where it was more focused on Oliver's prison break scene and where things started to ramp up. So the confrontation that we saw in the preview from last week's episode was definitely a pretty cool scene, but it was also a very short scene. I didn't mind it though, since it showed how different their levels in fighting are. That actually makes me think, what if Thea or Roy fought one of the new Team Arrow members? I think that would be a pretty interesting fight to see. I'm pretty sure Thea and Roy will beat them up pretty quickly, but as they progress, I'm curious how long it will take to get to Thea's level or Roy's level. I know that it took months for Merlin to train Thea to get her to where she is right now, so we'll see how that goes. But man, I do hope that Roy does another guest appearance because I love that guy. Anyways, let's talk about the prison break scene. Man, that scene was suspenseful and fun to watch. A part of me honestly thought that they wouldn't completely succeed the mission, like maybe Oliver would have to leave without Diggle or something. But that spray though, it came in handy, and that was actually pretty interesting. They should definitely keep that tool around. But, you know, TV shows, some things that are useful somehow magically disappear. They probably won't bring it back. Anyways, it was fun to watch Diggle and Oliver talk, how Diggle didn't want to escape at first, and Oliver, after like a few sentences, managed to convince Diggle to actually change his mind. I thought that was pretty funny. Even Lila couldn't get Diggle to change his mind, so it kind of shows the relationship that Oliver and Diggle have together. Especially that line when Oliver told him, you should repent and you should do it as Spartan. And I thought that was a really powerful line. So along with that prison scene, we got the flashback scenes in Russia, which was also a prison scene. Oliver kicking the car was pretty funny, but when he was threatening the guy working for Kovar, that was a pretty tense scene. I did not see it coming when he killed him. I thought like he was just gonna get the information and then leave. That guy's acting though was actually on point. Like, it genuinely looked like his gestures made me feel like he was definitely worried about his family and everything. I definitely think the flashback scenes in this episode, and actually from the pilot episode of this season, deserves an A+. They haven't been this good in a very long time. Alright, moving on to the closing scenes. When Ragman popped up and changed everybody's minds about the mission to save everybody in that, I don't know what it was actually. It was sort of like a prison type place. Also, he was interrogating them, so I'm guessing like some type of detention area or whatever. Anyways, that was a pretty good moment. Like, he just popped up, everybody was like, yeah, let's not do it because we gotta keep our butt safe and everything. And he just changed everybody's mind. That was a good moment. Might even be one of my favorite moments of the scene. And this drawing was definitely fitting for this episode review. So we got to see more of his powers, and it seems as if he doesn't get affected by explosive or bullets while he has his cloak on, obviously. I was actually curious to why he didn't just get back in there and save Wild Dog afterwards, like after they had to get Mr. Terrific out because he got, I don't know, a knife lodged into his back. So, I mean, they had to carry him out, and then I feel like Ragman could have went back in there, and because can he teleport or something? Because he somehow got into that room without going through doors. So I'm not sure why he couldn't like get back in there, but maybe he doesn't have a quick way to travel while holding someone, or maybe trying to rescue Renee might have caused Renee to get shot, and having the rest of the team wait could have put them in harm's way or something. Not sure, just my guesses, but all in all, that was a pretty awesome scene. Okay, so let's talk about the conclusion of the prison break scene. I thought it was kind of funny that somehow, I don't even know how it worked. What exactly happened? Comment below if you think you know. Like, Oliver and Diggle were, they escaped, and they were still fenced in, but all of a sudden they just put some stuff on, and then they got pulled away. I didn't even see the wire that was connecting them or anything like that. And that was super fast. I don't know about that, but like, wouldn't that whiplash really hurt them? You know, it's a TV show, but you know, just thinking here. Anyways, so after that, Diggle is safe and sound, and he's placed inside, I don't know where he is, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure he's close to the city, and he's safe, and that makes all the difference. I kind of predicted from last week's review that they would definitely rescue Diggle at the end of this episode, or maybe even the next episode, but I'm glad they did it in this episode, because it definitely made for some great suspenseful scenes, and a lot of my favorite scenes, and I'm super happy that Diggle is back. Also, let's talk about another sort of character conflict, the whole Rory and Felicity conflict that's going on. I actually thought that their conflict was very real, and this was something that they decided not to play on for too long, but definitely Rory being upset about it and thinking about quitting and everything made perfect sense. Like, if Felicity was responsible, or at least partially involved in the whole killing of his family and everything, like, Rory has the right to sort of, you know, back off and everything and just not want to see her too much. But I'm glad that they resolved it in one episode, because it made for a good scene. Like, it's definitely building up the character a lot, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So now at the very last scene, we have Renee and Church together, and it looks like Church is just beating him up. We get to see some previews, but we'll talk about the predictions later. So yeah, overall, I thought this was a great episode. A huge thumbs up to this episode. After getting into about like 10 minutes of the episode, I was completely drawn in. Each and every one of the prison scenes were suspenseful and very entertaining to watch. They resolved the whole Felicity and Ragman thing nicely and quickly. There was some definite stakes being presented, which is awesome, because stakes in a superhero show is definitely a must. So Wild Dog being captured by Church was one of those bigger stakes. So the whole idea of Diggle being back, like I said, it excites me, because I was missing him, and now they're going to add another dynamic to this new team, which is going to be very interesting to watch. I think Arrow Season 5 is doing pretty well right now, in my opinion. 3 of the 4 episodes were very entertaining and awesome episodes, and the one that I left out of that was totally a fine episode too. I'm definitely liking the way it's going, guys. So if you haven't watched the preview for next week's episode and you don't want to hear about it, I'm going to talk about it, so click away. So holy crap, guys, Oliver was just shot in that preview, and we saw some blood, so I'm hoping they did some kind of fake out, you know, fake blood and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just don't know. And like I said, stakes, and stakes being part of a superhero TV show, that's something I feel like, you know, you gotta have, and they're definitely upping the stakes with Renee being captured and now Oliver being shot. Next week's episode, it just looks like one to watch for sure. And that guy in the helmet looked pretty cool too. If you guys know who he is, you know, comment below, because I'm kind of clueless right now. We also heard Prometheus's voice, and we didn't get to see much of him, but he seems like a pretty cool character, so I'm happy about that. So all I really got to predict right now is like, it's gonna be one hell of an episode to watch. So I hope you guys liked this episode as much as I did. That was definitely a great episode in my opinion. And that's all I got for you guys for this review. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, comment down below on what you thought, and subscribe if you want more. It would definitely mean a lot to us since we're just starting out. Thanks a bunch.